Hey everyone, are you ready for a deep dive into a love story?
I'm ready. Are we talking big, sweeping romance or something more, realistic?
Think a little bit of both. We're taking a look at a blog post from Beyond the Desk, Level Up with Resilience, called A Against the Tide, a love story that defied fear.
Oh, interesting title. Sounds like there might be some obstacles for these lovebirds.
Definitely. But that's what makes it so compelling, right? It's about finding love when it feels like everything's against you.
I can already tell I'm going to love this one. So take us to the beginning. How does this love story start?
It all begins on a crowded train. We meet Harsh and Harshita, our main characters. Just a quick glance, a little awkwardness, the kind of moment that could easily get lost in the hustle and bustle.
Yeah, I've had plenty of those fleeting moments on public transportation. Never led to a whirlwind romance, though. What makes this one different?
Well, even in that brief encounter, there's something about them, like a spark. The author describes it as, and I love this, the pull of an invisible thread.
Ooh, I like that. You know, it really captures that feeling of instant connection, that sense that you're meant to meet this person.
Exactly. But life isn't always a fairy tale. Societal expectations, family pressures, all that comes into play here. They both feel the weight of those expectations.
So it's a love story with some real-world complications. Makes sense. I mean, who hasn't felt that pressure at some point in their life, right?
Totally. And then, as if to heighten the tension, the train suddenly jolts, and Harshita almost falls right into Harsh's arms.
Whoa, talk about a heart-stopping moment. I bet that really amplified the unspoken emotions between them, right?
Absolutely. You can feel the tension, the unspoken longing. It's a taste of what could be, but then Harshita gets off the train without a word.
Oh, man. That must've been rough. Leaving Harsh wondering what if, a missed connection.
Years pass, and fate steps in again. This time they bump into each other at their college reunion. But there's a twist. This time, it's Harshita who breaks the ice.
Oh, interesting. She's not letting the opportunity slip away this time. What's her approach? Bold and flirty, or more like playful teasing?
It's definitely more on the playful teasing side.
Yeah.
She makes a little joke about how awkward he was on the train all those years ago. You can tell she's more confident, more willing to put herself out there.
I like that. She's taking charge. So what happens next? Does this reunion spark a full-blown romance?
Not quite. They do become close friends, though. Late-night study sessions, sharing cups of chai, debating everything under the sun. But underneath all that, there's this simmering tension. They're inseparable, but they never really address the elephant in the room, their feelings for each other.
That's such a classic setup. So much unspoken tension, will they, won't they vibes. Why do you think they hold back at this point? Fear of ruining the friendship. Still those pesky societal expectations.
I think it's a mix of everything. It's those expectations, their families, the fear of judgment. But I also think maybe they're afraid to lose what they already have. What if they confess their feelings and it all blows up in their faces?
Makes sense. And wouldn't you know it, this story takes another turn. They wind up working in the same office, surrounded by coworkers, gossip, and of course their family's expectations are just looming over everything.
It's like the pressure cooker is about to explode, right?
Right.
The blog does a fantastic job of capturing that sense of unease through the office gossip, all the glances, all these small gestures they make to show they care.
Little acts of service, secret smiles across the room. Oh yeah, I can picture it. So are they finally going to confess their feelings?
Well, things get even more complicated when Harshita receives a marriage proposal. Can you imagine being Harsh in this moment? He's watching her from across the room. His heart's probably pounding, right? He wants to tell her how he feels, to stop her from making what he thinks is a huge mistake, but
the fear is just paralyzing, right? It's like all those what ifs come crashing down at once. What if she rejects him? What if it ruins their careers? What if their families completely disown them?
so many things at stake. And in the end, he says nothing, lets the moment pass. And that unspoken love just hangs there between them. It's heavy stuff, It makes you wonder how many times he's going to replay that moment in his head, thinking about what could have been.
It's a good reminder, though, isn't it? Sometimes the bravest, the most resilient thing we can do is face those fears head on, even when it feels impossible. But then again, sometimes we hesitate, we stumble. We're human, right? We don't always get it right.
And that's what makes this story so relatable. It's messy, it's real. But hold on, the story doesn't end there. We fast forward to an office party, a pretty casual affair, which ends up leading them to a fairground.
A fairground. Now that's unexpected. Where are they going with this? Cotton candy, bumper cars. Wait, don't tell me. They end up winning a goldfish together.
Not quite. Picture this. It's nighttime, The city lights are twinkling, and towering over everything is a giant Ferris wheel.
Ooh, a Ferris wheel. Okay, now we're talking. Classic romance trope. Love the symbolism there. High above the city, escaping the pressures of everyday life, just them, the stars, and the wind in their hair.
And as they're slowly ascending, Harshita turns to Harsh and asks him, "Do you ever think about what we could have been?"
Whoa, okay, that's a loaded question. Straight to the point, no beating around the bush. You can practically feel the years of unspoken longing in that one sentence. So what does Harsh say? Does he finally spill his guts?
His response is simple, but it speaks volumes. He just says, "Every single day."
Wow, talk about a mic drop moment. The tension must be so thick you could cut it with a knife. What happens next? Do they just sit there in awkward silence?
No! The Ferris wheel keeps rising, each rotation taking them higher and higher, closer to the top, closer to some kind of decision. And then Harsh asks, "What if we take the risk?"
Here it is, the climax of the story. He's finally confronting his fear, laying it all out there. So what does Harshita say? Does she take his hand? Does she jump off the Ferris wheel? I need to know.
In a moment of pure defiance, she replies, "Then we ride."
Yes, they're choosing love over fear. I knew it. So they step off that Ferris wheel hand in hand, ready to face the world together.
Exactly. It's exhilarating, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a powerful reminder that sometimes resilience isn't about grand gestures or overcoming some huge obstacle. Sometimes it's just about taking that leap of faith, even if you have no idea where you'll land.
It's such a beautiful message. The story really speaks to those challenges we all face, the fear of the unknown, the weight of other people's expectations, the longing for connection. But it also gives us hope. It reminds us that love can bloom in the most unexpected places, and that sometimes resilience is as simple as listening to your heart.
It's like the Ferris wheel itself is a symbol, don't you think? Being lifted above it all, getting a new perspective.
Yeah, I can see that. Like, it's that moment when they realize that the only thing holding them back is their own fear.
Right. And that choice to ride, it's like a metaphor for embracing the unknown, trusting the journey, trusting each other.
Absolutely. And I think the title, Against the Tide, is so perfect. They're going against the current, against all those societal expectations.
They're swimming upstream, choosing love, even when it feels like the whole world is trying to pull them apart. That takes some serious strength, some serious resilience.
No kidding. So what about us listening? What can we take away from Harsh and Harshita's story?
That's a great question. What resonates most with you?
I think it's that reminder that resilience, it's not always about bouncing back from some huge setback. It's about having the courage to choose love, to chase your dreams, even when things are tough.
To trust your gut and take that leap of faith.
Exactly, even when you're not sure where you'll land.
That's so well said. It's a message we can all hold on to.
Wow. This deep dive into Against the Tide, a love story that defied fear, has been incredible. It's a good reminder that love can pop up anywhere, and sometimes resilience is as simple as listening to your heart. And, the author actually encourages readers to share their own thoughts and experiences in the comments. It would be awesome to hear your perspectives on this story, and if it's made you think about your own journeys with love and resilience.
Absolutely. We'd love to hear from you.
Oh.
Now, before we wrap up, the blog recommends a song, Roller Coaster Ride. It feels like the perfect soundtrack, don't you think?
Totally. Life, love, it's all a roller coaster, right?
Yeah.
Full of ups and downs and twists and turns.
And sometimes the best thing you can do is just hold on tight and enjoy the ride. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep choosing love.